Hello again, I'm Wade. If you follow me on Twitter or Instagram, you know that I tore my board apart. I have this giant board, we'll call it Mission Control, that I only use for creative purposes, like these demos or in the studio. And I just tore that bad boy completely apart, and I've ordered some new stuff. I'm going to run a bunch of new wires and, just a little project that apparently I thought I should tackle in between demos. Anyway, so this week we're going to look at the Temple Audio pedal board. I actually saw these guys a few years back at NAMM, and I thought it was a neat little system, but this is the first time I've got my hands on one, so let's jump into it. Alright guys, I've got my pedal board, I've got some pedals, I've got my coffee. That's no stunt coffee cup, there's actual coffee in there. Sent to me from Satellite Amps, I might add. Not only does that guy make great amps, he's got good taste in coffee, so, probably would make sense that me and him are friends. He makes amps, I like coffee. What are you going to do? All right. You see these little panels here on the side? Those come out, so this thing's completely modular. I've got my IRC that it came with set up on the left side over here, but you can put it in right here on the right. You can put in ins, outs, whatever you want to do. I've even seen them selling a little USB charger that I guess you could hook up to your power supply, which I've got mounted under the board, and then you can charge your phone. Interesting enough. Maybe you should stay off your phone during your playing, but whatever. Walrus Audio sent me a Phoenix, and this seemed like the good place to use it, so I mounted it on this board. Temple Audio IRC cable in. This is the only thing I really set up ahead of time, just because it's heavy and it's a tiny bit tricky to set up pedals that have more than one of the feet on the bottom, so I just went ahead and did that. It looks great on top of the board, looks good underneath the board. The Walrus Audio Phoenix is pretty nifty. So I don't know if you can see here, we've got little screws and these panels just come right out. This thing is super light, but very, very solid. Probably shouldn't have shook the table, but And I've got my Walrus Audio Transit. I put some painter's tape on the bottom of this, and I do this on all my pedals because it preserves the finish. It will not adhere as nicely as it would if it were directly on the paint, but then if you have to move this or put this on a different board, and sometimes I swap stuff out, sometimes I decide to sell stuff, it doesn't tear it up. I've traveled all over the country with pedals that have the tape on the bottom of them, and it works 90% of the time. Every now and then I have to redo one, but whatever. Okay, so these come in large, medium, and small. They don't come with any instructions. I think it's pretty easy to figure out. It just came with the pedal board and a package full of these, and I think you probably order exactly what you need. Let's go ahead and look at these. You've got 4 little studs there, and you've got a thumb screw. And you can see that the little holes, they just find where it locks in. Boom, it's there. Then you screw it on from the underneath, and it's good to go. Very, very simple. This is very strong adhesive, so make sure you got it where you want it, but it's very easy to do. And it fits better than, or it holds better than the Velcro, at least so far. So I've got one loaded up here. I know that I want my foot switch right there, and so now let's see if we can look underneath. I don't know how to show you this really. I know what we'll do. Turn it on its side. Sorry if this demo is rambling, but it's sort of awkward to try and shoot this. And then you just screw it in like that. Screw in the other one. And originally I mounted this one up with one, and it worked just fine, but when you stepped on it, it sort of turned from side to side. Not turned, but sort of went back and forth, and I thought over time that might work loose. Okay, thumb tight, and it's on there. How nifty is that? Okay, so if I were going to fully build this board out right now, I would want a nasty, nasty fuzz right up front where I could step on it and in front of a looper. So I'd probably put it right there. Actually, it'd be okay on this looper, but I'd want it in front of a buffer. That's what I was trying to say. So I've got my painter's tape on there. We're just going to peel the back off of this. Sorry, my fingers are a little gross and dry from winter. I'm just going to plug that right in the middle. I'm not even too worried. I probably could have done a straighter job, but that's part of the reason why I put the tape on there. If I screw something up, I can fix it. Boom, right there. Now, I'm a little bit OCD, and so the fact that that is just the tiniest bit crooked would drive me nuts, and I will go back and fix that. But just for our purposes, pedals on there, it's not going anywhere. So next, what would I do? Well, we've got our fuzz, we've got our looper. What do we want to put on our looper? Probably a, and these are the medium, probably a drive pedal. So let's add a drive pedal. This is the Wampler Catapult, and it is a really warm, thick, chugging, great sounding, just a great sounding little pedal. All right, we're going to try to do this one straighter than the last one. Boom. Okay. And just for the sake of whatever, we're going to put it right here. Now you can completely move this stuff around, which is great. There it goes. And I would probably want a little drive pedal, which I'm going to put right there in front of it. This is the Wampler Thomas, and it is, I love the way these two play together. You know, you've got your thick, chunky rhythms, and then you step on this, and it's almost like a solo boost paired with that. Then I've got a phaser, and I want the phaser up close, so I'm probably going to mount it there. And I've got a delay. Now I realize this isn't everything that you could put on this board. You can fit 10, 15 pedals on this board, but just quickly showing you how this works, we're going to mount that right there. So I'm going to skip ahead for a second and show you one last thing about it, and then we'll look at it when it's a little closer to done. So you've got these handy holes. Just run your already assembled cables up through. Boom, in, out, and power through the same hole. Last thing I wanted to show you that may have not occurred to you because it didn't occur to me till I started messing with it. All those tiny little holes are great for cable management. Now I pulled these two cables off of another board, otherwise I would have built them to a custom length and ran them around the edges and made them look all pretty and all that. But regardless, all these little holes, with one zip tie, I was able to tie them together and hold them exactly where I want them, and that zip tie is ran underneath a pedal that's already mounted, so you can't see it from the top, and I didn't even have to pull that pedal off to do it. So this thing is just, it's just cool. It's very easy. It's a good option. The only drawback I see is if you have an existing board that's got a bunch of Velcro on it and you move to this, it's going to be a little hard to switch back and forth. But if you're just starting out or looking for a good system to switch to, this is great. I mean, honestly, and they're dirt cheap, so you could probably have two of these cheaper than you could have a different board or two of a traditional style board. Okay, obviously I didn't build it all the way out right now because I want to get it exactly how I want it, but hope you guys enjoyed it. Everything about this thing is just well made, so you know, thumbs up from Wade. All right guys, again, I need you to follow, like, comment, all that mess. We're a team and I need your help. I need to build those YouTube numbers. Got just a few coffee mugs left. If you want one, snatch one. Now would be the time. Oh yeah, go to Beard's OK at Guitar if you haven't seen this before. My face on this side. If you want to see what I'm up to throughout the week, Instagram, Twitter, YouTubes, please don't follow me around LA. That's just creepy.